Going to start in making a longer film, and we're going to do some camera movements that are called pans. The camera pans. We're going to have one pan downward. Later on, we're going to have one pan from right to left. And so you're going to open the file called bunnybiz.intro.fla. Download that from Canvas, and you will see it. When you open it up, it'll look like this. You'll see mountains, you'll see trees, bushes. These are rabbit holes here. You'll see the title card. So everything is there. If you look down at the background folder here in the timeline, there's a mountains. That's where the mountains are. They're on a layer. The sun is on a layer. The sky is on a layer by itself. Okay, there's a border. There's the title. There's the ground, which is just a rectangle of green, bushes and a tree. Okay. We're going to learn that when we need camera movements and we need something to blur, to show a motion blur, that object has to be a movie clip, because we can't blur it unless it is a movie clip. So we're going to get into the filters of movie clips and how to make things blur. So we're going to do that in a moment. All right, now we're going to try to duplicate motion in the real world, and that means that when the camera moves, things that are farther away, like mountains and the sun, are going to move more slowly. Things that are closer, like the bushes and the trees, are going to move faster. So that's what we're going to try to duplicate. Okay. All right, now the first thing we're going to start with is the title screen. It's going to fade in and then fade out, and then reveal the mountains below. So we have to create a layer for that. So go find the title layer. There it is here. And I'm going to, actually I'll go to the ground layer and create a layer above the ground layer. Call it fader, F-A-D-E-R. Okay. And I'm going to draw a black rectangle on this layer. So I'll zoom in here a little bit. Okay, I'll get the rectangle tool. I want the color to be black. I don't really need a stroke. And I'm going to start at the top left, go to the bottom right. And that is my black screen on the fader layer. Okay. And I need to make this a movie clip. So I'm going to select it. I'm going to do convert to symbol. And I'm going to call the symbol fader. And I make sure that it is a movie clip. I'll click OK. All right, now you look at it and you go, well, that okay, but I can't really read some of the stuff. I can't read the name there. I can't. The blue of the text is so dark I can't read it. Now you could solve that by making the text lighter, but there are other things you can do too, and I want to show you what those things are. We're going to play with filters. So I'm going to select. I've got this fader selected, and what I want to do is go down to the title card, or up to the title card. So I'll lock the fader. I'll go up to the title card, and there is this movie clip. Going to go to properties, and down here at filters, there are no filters. So I can add one with the plus sign. So I'll go plus, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a glow. So I'm going to click on glow, and I want the color to be yellow. So on the color, I'll change the color to yellow. And let's see, the amount of blur I want, just because I know that it looks good, I'm going to go with a 5 pixel blur. So I pressed on the 4px, bumped it up to 5. Notice that it blurs in the X direction and the Y direction. So that's vertically and horizontally. So that's an all-around blur. The strength of it, I can actually increase above 100%. So I'm going to go up to, I happen to know that 225 is going to work well. So I'm going to go with 225. And notice now the letters pop out. You can see Lucky Dog and Bunny Business. You can see that a lot better. All right, the small letters are still too hard to read, but we can do something there too. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this from an outer glow to an inner glow. Watch what happens. Over here, I'm going to click on where it says inner glow, and there we go. The glow went inside the letters, which kind of makes it similar for the large letters, but then it just completely filled in the small letters. It'd be about the same as having those letters be solid yellow, but just showing you that you can have inner glow, you can have outer glow, and sometimes you can solve a problem using the inner glow. Okay, now we're going to go to the title layer, and I'm happy with that now. So I'm going to select this on the title layer, and I want to go to color effect, and what I want to do is have this fade in, so I need to go with the alpha option on the style on the color effect. So I go to alpha. It defaults to 0, which means it's there but it's invisible. Okay, and now I need to unlock the fader layer because I'm going to do a fade in on both the fader and the title. Now before we do that, I need to change the frame rate of the film. It's currently 12 frames per second. I need to change that to 24, and I can do that in the properties here. I go down to where it says FPS, frames per second, and it's a slider. I can just press and drag to the right up to where it says 24 frames per second, and there we go. Now I will highlight frames 1 and 2 of the title and fader layer. I'll do a control press and I'll do create motion tween, and it gives me a motion tween that automatically goes to frame 24. Okay, but I want the title card to fade in. I don't want it to be visible right away. So I'm going to go to frame 1, and I need to select the title card. I need to change the color effect of alpha to 0, but I can't do that. I can't see it in properties. I can't see color effect. So I'll deselect and click on it again, and now I can see it. Properties, color effect. I'm going to change the style to alpha and make sure it's 0 at frame 1. All right, now I'll go out to frame 12. Yes, down here at frame 12, I may have to deselect, oops, I may have to lock that fader layer. Select the title again. I'm on frame 12. I'll change the alpha to 100. So that means that it starts black and then the title fades in. Now, one thing I also want to do, I want to go down to the fader, I'll lock the title, and select it, select it, do color effect alpha, and make sure it's at 100 also. In fact, I may zoom it down back to 100. That gave me a keyframe there that I didn't have. I had to lower it and raise it because I need to establish that it is 100, because it's going to fade out. It started completely visible at 100, but I want it to be completely visible at frame 12. So I had to establish that at frame 12 that the fader would still be 100, because it's all going to fade out here in just a second. Okay, so I'm going to go out to frame 60 on these layers, and I'm going to make it a keyframe, F6. Okay, and then I'm going to unlock the title layer, and at frame 60 I want them still to be 100%, because that's going to be between 12 and 60. It's going to be completely visible. Okay, so I needed to establish that with a keyframe. All right, now I'm going to go out to frame 84 So I'll highlight frame 84 both, and I'll do another keyframe, F6. Now here things are going to change. This is where things are going to fade out. So on both layers of frame 84, I'm going to change the alpha to 0. Here's the title layer, turn that to 0. Here's the fader layer, turn that to 0. And you can see now as I scrub the timeline, we start with fully black screen, the text fades in, stays visible, and then between 60 and 84 they both fade out. Now it's going to reveal the rest of the scene beneath them, but we haven't shown the others don't exist yet. So what I've got to do is go to this top layer, I'll do F5 to extend it, that's the border layer, and then I'll select all these frames underneath, I'll do F5. So now as the title card fades out, the background is revealed. And that's what I wanted to do at this point. Okay. So now I have a title screen that fades in and out to begin my movie.